Hey, hello everybody. Welcome, Prop Tarts. Welcome to Prop Live Q&A, your bi-weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill in my new office, and we're joined again by Dhareza. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
You betcha. We've already figured out in the pre-show that what the best pizza is. It costs $1.
Dollar pizza.
How are things on your coast, other than having the better pizza than on my coast?
Well, besides the better, well, that's obviously true, but the weather is actually kind of terrible here. It's just been raining on and on just the entire time, so East Coast isn't doing so well.
Oh, well, it's really warm here, and we just got back from Maker Faire. The Bay Area Maker Faire.
Right.
Tell me, I've never been to the New York Maker Faire. Have you ever gone to that one?
I have not, but I follow the feed, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I think the one on your side is bigger though.
Right. It's gigantic. So we have a mini Maker Faire in Seattle, and it's almost shameful to call it a Maker Faire compared to the Bay Area Maker Faire. It's absolutely bonkers. I will say for prop and costume makers, if you have a Maker Faire near you, I recommend checking it out. A lot of people who are just into fabrication, they're showing off their tools and materials. And they actually had a lot of cosplay programming at Bay Area Maker Faire, which was really cool. We had a prop contest, not a costume contest, a prop contest.
That's right. You were judging that one,
yes.
Right?
Our pal Steven from Solo Roboto put that together, and it was really fun. And there were a lot of great costumes, or props. So people also wore costumes along with the props.
Got it.
Dhareza, what have you been up to lately? And for those at home, if you go to Dhareza.com, you can get in on his shenanigans. But what's been your jam lately?
Honestly, I've been trying to squeeze in just like random props and costume making stuff in between being a creative director at an ad agency. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's one of those things where I'm at work from 9 to 2 a.m. sometimes, and before sleeping, I just need to work with my hands.
Yeah.
So lately I've been working on smaller things. I've been just making like small masks here and there, maybe an arm guard. But nothing gigantic. I'd rather do them 3 or 4 times a year, but lately it's been rough.
Yeah. Now I'm over on your Instagram page right now, and I see now Wolverine is my favorite character. Everyone knows that. You got a pretty bonkers looking Wolverine there. You want to tell me a little more about that?
Yeah. So that's actually kind of based off of the Play Arts toy. That everyone that's been going around. I kind of started. I did it really loud. I'm sorry. I did it really quickly, and wasn't really happy with it. And I just went at it. I decided to give it a lot more samurai effects. Just started throwing just random things, and I'm actually kind of happy with the end result.
Very cool. I love seeing characters that would be. That are a normal character but taken to a totally different level like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I actually tend to do that with almost all of my builds.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I think you're a cool guy. Hold on one second. Folks in the chat says there's a little bit of an echo, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. I'm sorry, guys.
Is that coming from my end?
That's what they're saying, but I don't hear it, so I'm not... Yeah. So I think we're just going to press forward. A quick question I have for you as I was scouring your website. You've got your credentials down at the bottom. 8 years design experience. Very cool. Where do you come up with the 8,247 cans of Red Bull?
Oh, I stopped counting after that. Yeah. I'm sure I'm like well past that number.
Is that an estimate based on how many cans you drink a day?
Is an estimate. Exactly. That's old. I've since switched to coffee.
Oh.
I started drinking coffee about 2 or 3 years ago, but before that it was all about Red Bull.
By the way, Red Bull, if you're listening and you're looking for a great sponsorship opportunity, talk to my man Dhareza over here.
Drink a lot of it.
Yeah, hey, folks watching at home, if you've got a prop or costume related question, please send it in. punishprops.com/live is the place for that. And we will dive into those very soon. And I'm going to grab them all from the email because Brittany is making a mold right now. So we'll get to that in just a second. And I'd like to ask you about any events that you've been to recently. Now, unfortunately, we didn't see you at Construct this year. I did see you last year, which was really cool.
That's right. I think, that was great. That was actually the second time we ever met, actually officially talked.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we met, I think, was about almost 10 years ago at New York Comic Con.
Oh my goodness.
We were both in Mass Effect gear.
Yes.
And it was the very, very first time I ever worked with foam. I still have that picture, actually.
That's awesome. Wow, does it? When you say that, it makes me feel old. Also, all this gray in my beard makes me feel old too. Do you have any events that you've been to recently though that you thought were pretty cool?
Yeah, I think the reason why we missed Construct was because of what I think it was WonderCon.
Oh right.
Yeah. I think that's why we missed it. We loved it the first time we went last year at Construct, and I know that they wanted us back to talk about Warbler, but we just couldn't fit it into our schedule.
Mm-hmm. I've never been to WonderCon, but do you think it's cool?
It's now one of my favorite kind of chill cons.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a big industry con. You got Marvel and DC and all the big guys there, but it's not at the level of San Diego Comic Con.
Right. But
it's not at the level of New York Comic Con. It is just a nice, chill venue, and it's also at the same place as BlizzCon, which is a really beautiful place.
And you could probably get a ticket and get a hotel room, or is it getting a little competitive?
It is getting very competitive. We had to room with a couple of friends, which is always cool. The way to do cons is do it with friends.
Yep.
But one of the cooler parts about WonderCon is at the end of the day, Disneyland is just a couple blocks away.
Even if you don't go to Disneyland, you could go to, what is it, Trader Sam's, the tiki bar there? Like downtown Disney, you don't even have to go into Disney. There's still plenty. You can go to Margaritaville if you want.
Which is completely free. Just hang out, and it's basically Disney-esque.
Yeah.
Obviously, Disneyland has all the rides, but downtown Disney is just as fun.
Oh yeah.
For us adults.
For grown-up children like us.
Right.
We what was the? I completely lost my train of thought there. You said BlizzCon. I'm here to happily report that we were able to. We did the blood sacrifice and we got tickets to BlizzCon. So you guys can look forward to us at BlizzCon this year, which will be really fun. Nerds and
unfortunately we didn't sacrifice enough, we did not get in.
You gotta put a lot of goats through a meat grinder to get that to work. Nerds and Makers says, love Trader Sam's. Those of you who don't, this is totally not proper costume related, but I don't care. If you go to Trader Sam's, depending on the drink you order, it causes an effect in the bar. That's all I'm gonna spoil about it. It's you have to experience it. It's really, really fun.
How often do you go?
Generally whenever we're there for BlizzCon, so at least once a year.
Okay.
Let's see. Oddman Props in the chat says, blood sacrifice, the chubby cat better be okay. Don't worry, Booty Cat's fine. Cool. Hey, gang, I'm collecting questions in the chat right now, just so you know. If you go to punishprops.com/live, you can submit them right there, and I'll be able to grab them. And we will jump in on them in just 1 second. Before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Let me see. You've got a bunch of cool stuff on your YouTube channel. And one of the things I'd like to show folks, this isn't anything new, but I think it's worth a reminder, is doing muscles out of EVA foam. You got a video that's a couple years old, but it's definitely worth resharing. And we'll link to this in the chat, obviously, or in the show notes. But anyway, one of the things Dhareza is kind of known for is by sculpting his own abs out of EVA foam, but out of a single sheet of EVA foam, which is really fantastic. Do you have any muscle suit costumes planned coming up?
Actually, I do. I'm going to Comic-Palooza tomorrow, which
Oh, wow.
is in Texas, and I'm bringing my own version of Iron Fist. I don't think you can see it behind me, or maybe you can.
I can.
Yeah, it's that guy right there.
Yeah.
I love the technique. Like you said, it's old. It's like several years old, but I've been able to just make costumes out of that one technique for the last couple of years at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I could have gone like the gym route, which is what most people do.
Yeah.
But
that's for suckers.
Decided just to exactly just sculpt it out of EVA foam, man.
Imagination to form in the chat says, I don't have to exercise to get muscles. That's right. They've been feeding you lies for years.
All you need is EVA foam, a nice knife, hot glue, and a pebble.
Very good. A magic pebble. Let's see. Eclipse Prop says, that video saved me during Con Crunch. Well, that's awesome.
Well, thank you, Eclipse. Glad it did.
Awesome. Oh,
or you could have just gone to the gym the entire time.
Yeah.
Who's got time for that?
Another video, I remember watching this during KatsuCon, another event I've never been to, but you put out a really great video that not enough people have seen called Alone at Comic-Con, or at KatsuCon.
KatsuCon, right. It's one of my favorite cons. You've never been, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's a smaller scale version of Dragon Con, basically. It's a 24-hour con. It's almost a party con, but everyone brings their biggest and best stuff. And it is packed.
Yeah.
It is always packed, 24/7 for 4 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're up at 4 a.m. on one of the first days or the last days, no one's there. And I was able to shoot one of my favorite videos of all time.
That's amazing. So why were you up at 4 a.m.?
Because it's a 24-hour con.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was just wired and hyped from the day, because you get to see some of the best work out there, and I was just excited the entire time, and I just couldn't sleep. So I decided, let's just go outside and see if anyone's up. There were a couple of stragglers here and there, but not enough so I can film that thing.
That would be this should be. I can't commit to stuff. If I say things out loud on the internet, people will hold me to it. But this would be a really great thing to do for different people to do at different conventions. If I could do the same thing at Dragon Con, that would be really incredible.
So that is my plan. I am going to attempt to do that at Dragon Con.
What if we each did an Alone at Dragon Con video, and then in the middle of it we met?
You meet up in the middle.
When would you do it though? Because the rave gets out, the rave starts at 3 and gets out at 6. I wouldn't even know when.
I gotta figure that out. It's got to be the first day or the last day.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, we've got a couple questions, so I think we're gonna dive into that. The last thing I want to mention before we jump into that, we are in the new shop. This is my new office. The shop is just through the wall over there. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do with the look around here. I put up a video, or I just uploaded a video building some new material storage shelves. I'm very proud of that. Should be very useful. That'll go out tomorrow. We've also been doing behind the scenes vlogs over on Patreon. So if you're helping us out over on Patreon, that's a little bit of a thank you for your support. Because of that, we can move into a giant space like this, which is awesome. So if you're a patron, and if you haven't seen those already, head on over there and check them out. There will be more forthcoming, including a bunch of stuff from Bay Area Maker Faire. If you're not yet a patron, then that might be a really awesome reason to come help us out. So that's all at punishprops.com/Patreon. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm ready to jump into some questions. The first one is from Gabriella, and it's about foam, something that you and I probably know quite a bit about. We've got a visual aid as well, so I'm going to link this in the chat. Adventure Quest is the game, which I've never played. This is the Great Cleaver. So I just threw a link in the chat if you guys want to study up on the visual aid. The question is, I'm planning to tackle my first prop, but I'm really afraid of the painting part.
Okay.
How would you go about replicating this kind of hand-painted texture used in games? These big iron rough surfaces and highlights seem impossible to fake through painting alone. What do you think, Dhareza?
I think you can do a lot of that, actually, most of that using painting. Obviously, I Dremel a lot of those highlighted pieces in, you know, give it the real distressed look, but you can definitely dry brush that to make it look exactly like that.
I like pointing out that use your Dremel to add texture before you paint. A lot of times if you add, or most of the time, you add texture to something, that's going to help your paint job a million times. You just kind of start doing washes over it, and it looks amazing. I don't know if you've been watching these recently, but our pal Stephen K. Smith from SKS Props started making videos on YouTube. And I think his painting technique, hand-painted with acrylic paints, would be really good for this kind of prop. So I'm looking up SKS Props on YouTube. There we go.
Literally doing the same thing.
Yep. He also just did a video with his daughter, and I'm like,
yeah.
I had to let him. I was like, "Damn it, Steve! You're gonna crush me with your adorable children." Here we go. Let's see.
I mean, the technique that he used with the Stormbreaker is kind of similar.
Yeah, good call. So I'll bring up that video. I've never seen him smile as much either. He's all smiles on camera. So yeah, go watch his Stormbreaker video and then see how he painted it. That'll help you out a whole bunch. I will of course link to this video in the show notes for you. I have a good question for you, Dhareza. Do you have any favorite paints or brands of paint that you use for hand painting?
Yeah, for the last 2 years, I've been using a brand called Lumiere by Jacquard Paints.
Ooh.
It's got this great like metallic pigment to it, so it really fits with a lot of the stuff I like to build, which are more metal, obviously. So I like the sheen that naturally comes out of it.
Lumiere, you say?
Yes. Lumiere by Jacquard Paints.
Desperately trying to figure out how to spell that. Sounds French.
It is Lumiere.
Got it. Jacquard. Nailed it.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh, we got an Amazon link. Fantastic. They got a whole bunch of really great stuff.
And yes, they do.
Oh my. Is this what you use to paint your Wonder Man costume?
Almost every single thing I've ever made in the last maybe 4 or 5 years has been with this paint product.
That's wonderful. Is that something you source locally, or you?
Yeah, so I'm. What you see behind me, I'm actually fortunate enough to work out of this New York place called Manhattan Wardrobe Supplies.
Ooh.
So all of my cosplay stuff is from here. We got Warblood, we have foam, Lumiere paints, or I'm looking at it right now. We have an entire wall full of it. So I've been really fortunate enough just to be able to grab whatever I need to use for whatever I build.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, it's a lot better than working out of my small New York apartment on the floor.
That's awesome. What was the name of the store there?
Manhattan Wardrobe Supply.
I will provide a link to that in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
And of course, if you're anywhere near the Complete Sculpture, you should go check them out. That's where we had Construct, because they're awesome. Let's see. I think we pretty much covered that one. Let's move on. That one was from Gabriella. Thank you very much for the question. Next one is from Zia. This is about fabric and foam. We've got another visual aid. So I'm going to throw that link in the chat. You guys can go check that out. Looks like it's Link from the Legend of Zelda series. Like how I definitely didn't mess that up. I didn't want to be that guy.
You didn't want to be that guy that said Zelda.
Look, it's Zelda. It's a Zelda costume. On this hood, what would be the best way to put all of the detailing on the back and the hood? So there's all this sort of, I would guess if it were a real garment, it would be embroidery. But there's a lot of different ways you could do that. How would you tackle that one?
I would paint that in, and I'm sorry for it. It may sound like I'm shilling for them, but Jacquard Paints again makes some great textile paints actually that I would use for that. Another thing that actually just popped in my mind is Vert Fixen recently did this great piece where I can't remember which cosplay it was, but she glued foam onto the fabric so that it just those detailed pieces just stood out a lot more. And I've been meaning to try that technique.
So is that almost like applique, but you used foam instead of fabric?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that super quick. You said that was recent?
I probably within the last year.
Oh, within the last year. All right, I'm not going to find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool though. You could cut out the foam by hand and just glue it down to the fabric.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what else works really well too is just puffy paint. If you got a good steady hand, there's like a pointy nozzle on it. The cool thing about puffy paint is you get that dimension. It's a little raised off of the surface.
And it flexes as with the fabric, so
yeah.
It's not going to be stiff on it.
Yeah, but if you want really clean, you got to have a good steady hand to apply that stuff by hand. But if you could cut that pattern out ahead of time and then glue it down, that would probably be the easiest way to do it. Have you ever used, and I have not used one of these, but have you ever used like a CNC embroidery machine?
I have not. I've seen it happen. I've always wanted one, but I've not used one.
Me too. Maybe that'll be one of our upgrades in the new shop. There's a lot of upgrades we want to make in the new shop. Would you let's just say embroidery machine? So basically it's a CNC router but with a sewing needle thing on it. Here's a guy in a cowboy hat showing off his. Yeah, and it just goes, yeah, it's crazy. And you can put different colored threads in it, and this is obviously a step way, way, way above. But if you have a ton of embroidery to do on a costume, it might be worth investing in that now, and then you can use it for every costume in the future. Might be.
That is really cool.
Yeah. I think they're coming down in price quite a bit too. Looks like the one this guy has here is a little kind of maybe a little more of an industrial one, but I think
I would imagine, but it's definitely going to be on my wish list.
Yeah, yeah.
So, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. I think we gave. Let's see, who was the questions? Yeah, I think we gave you some good options there. Another additional question for the quiver: is it a good idea to use an empty chip tube so the arrows don't fall out? So the quiver, just looks like if it were leather, it's just like kind of folded and then stitched along one edge until it's closed on all the way around. I think you could do that out of foam or actual leather, the way that actual quivers are made. But if you want to make it out of a tube, then that would probably work too. So.
Whatever's easiest. I probably would go with the foam route too.
Yeah. Kishore is in the chat. He says, did they talk about the helmet that went viral with the smoke and light coming out of his eyes? We haven't talked about that yet, Kishore, but if you drop a link in the chat, then I'll bring it up.
Have you seen that video yet?
I think so. Is it like a black helmet with yellow eyes and smoke coming out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone finds that and drops it in the chat, I'll bring it up. Kishore, a buddy from Friends in Tested, who I just saw at Maker Faire. I hope you're doing well there, Kishore. Awesome. All right, let's move on. Thank you for the question, Zia, and good luck on that costume. All right. It's a Trap has a question. He wants to know more about the green costume behind you. So, is there any chance you could bring a piece over here?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
So this is the Arcane Green Lantern.
Yes.
I'll just bring the helmet
Very
over.
good, very good.
It is my second largest costume of all time. I made it for Katsucon about 2 years ago. Primarily made out of foam, but the helmet is like how I make all of my helmets, completely made out of Warbler.
Oh my.
And painted with that Lumiere paint that I was talking about earlier, so it's got that natural, nice sheen to it.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely seen some better days. You can probably see a couple of paint chips here and there, but
it's traveled.
That's not bad. Yeah, it's traveled all over the place, and TSA has banged it up for sure, but it's still holding.
When I build my stuff, tell me if you're similar, but when I build my stuff, I plan on not taking very good care of it myself. So, like, when I hand it to the TSA, I'm like, do your worst. You couldn't wreck it any more than I would.
So basically, if it survives TSA, it's just going to survive everything.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I tend to build not for the long haul. I tend to know that I'm just going to probably wear it like once, maybe twice, and then just move on from then.
Yep. I tend to just not care if it breaks. I can always fix it.
Oh, yeah, and that too, exactly.
All right, cool. Let's. Oh wait, is this the helmet? Did someone find the link?
Helmet.
All right, let me bring this up here. It's a Facebook link. It's coming up on the screen. It's probably going to blast audio, so let me mute that. Yeah, I definitely saw this. That is so cool. Mm-hmm. So, I wonder. It's a really short video. I wonder if he's running a fog thing through there, or if he's just vaping like a crazy vapor guy.
So I read a couple of comments. Some of them say that he's vaping in there, just vaping like crazy, but that's a long vape.
It really is. I mean, those guys are pretty dedicated. It's really, really cool. I love how the light looks through the smoke. It makes me want to put that. I don't know what I want to put that in, but I want to put that in something.
Right.
Actually,
looks really cool.
You mentioned I won't be able to find it right away, but you mentioned Vert Vixen, and she did something similar with her Frostmourne for her Lich King costume.
Yep.
I'll just look up Vert Vixen Lich King and see what shows up on Google. Hey, look at that! There's a video by Sneaky Zebra, and she's the first person in it. How handy is that? Thanks, or I'm sorry, Sneaky Zebra. It opens with her, and is it going to show the smoke? Yeah, and then the blue glowing. Yep. It works a lot better in a dark room, like that guy had in for his crazy vape thing. But
the fact that you can see it in daylight.
Yeah.
And by the way, that looks like BlizzCon, right?
Yeah,
it is. The fact that you can see it in daylight is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Man, I want to do that. Let's see. It's a Trap has another question for me. He says, how is the new hire coming along? So we are up to, Punish Props Academy is now up to 4 employees. Me and Britt and Paige. And we just brought on our buddy Everett, who's kind of business development guy. So very much behind the scenes, working on all the business stuff that I want to be doing but don't have enough time to do, because I also want to be building stuff. So that's really cool. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for a decade, and we worked together at Microsoft, so we know each other very well. He's down in Southern California right now, but he used to live in Seattle, and maybe someday I can convince him to move back up here, which would be really cool. But he's been on the job now officially about a week, and so not really a lot to tell. But he did fly up here and help us move, which is great. Thank you. It's a Trap. Again, if anyone's watching and you've got any questions, punishprops.com/live is the place to submit it. The next one comes to us from our pal Nerdy Views. He's curious, for Dhareza, what's your convention schedule like for the rest of the year?
Well, first of all, hey, Nerdy Views, and second, tomorrow we're going to Comicpalooza, which is in Houston. And after that, it's not a convention. We're actually flying over to Utah for the USITT to teach people how to work with Warbler.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is actually really cool. Yeah. That's probably one of our cooler events coming up, because we love to teach. I know you do too, Bill. It's just one of those things where it's just fun to bring that knowledge to everyone.
That's really cool. That was kind of like what we did at Construct. Actually, one of the things I enjoyed this year is, instead of doing a workshop, I did a couple of demos. So I had a couple hours to do, like I did a molding and casting demo, which was really great. We used some fast curing silicone so we could get a mold done in like half an hour, and then I cast it. And then the next day I did a painting demo with the pieces that we cast from the mold, which was really fun. I think that helps a lot of people like cross that barrier into trying something when they can see someone else do it in person. They're like, oh, that's not so scary.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those things where the barrier to entry can be viewed really high for a lot of people. It can be scary. I mean, when I first started getting to cosplay, I knew that I had a million questions and not that many people were out there to answer them.
Yeah.
And and it's one of those things where I learn by failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would try a million things, and then the one time that works, that's what I just did for the rest of the year. And the thing is, while that worked for me, that I can totally understand that that's scary for a lot of other people. I get it. A lot of these products, a lot of these tools can be expensive, so it's helpful to see it, to touch it before actually, putting your money into it.
This is really cool. I'm just checking out the USITT website. This is the Costume Symposium, Costume to Cosplay, 3-day Warbling EVA foam workshop. What?
Yeah,
that is so cool.
It's gonna be a good time.
That looks fantastic. I want to go.
It'll be my first time in Utah too.
That's cool. Utah's a gorgeous state. I've been there a few times. So that's a couple. Any others on your schedule for the rest of the year?
After that, I know that we're confirmed for one of our local cons here, Anime NYC. We're excited about that one as well. That's going to be the tail end of the year, so I think that's around November, I think, after New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And obviously, New York Comic Con.
Yep. Let's see. I think the only two we have confirmed is for the rest of this year, and there will probably be more. But we have Dragon Con.
Oh, Dragon Con, we're doing that too.
And okay,
it actually is going to be my first one.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
that's how everyone.
I'm excited to see. Like, I want to be there when you walk into the Marriott and watch it wash over you, and you're like, "Oh, I get it now."
Right. What would you suggest? Bringing big every day, or just kind of chill so I can squeeze through the crowds?
I would say bring one showpiece costume. But then if you can swing it, bring a casual version of that same costume. Like an evening wear version of the same costume. So if you could do the same thing where it's casual but you have the helmet, or casual but you have the weapon or something like that. Kishore, a veteran, says, pace yourself. That's a good call, Kishore. For those of you who don't know, if you ran into Mayor McCheese last year at Dragon Con and he gave you a cheeseburger, that was Kishore. Yeah, so pace yourself, bring one big costume, and then bring a bunch of casual costumes just to have a really good time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just one big.
But really, you're gonna just absorb it, just experience it, let it wash over.
I'm looking forward to it. I've seen the videos for years. I've seen your pictures there. It looks like an amazing time. I've just never been able to swing it, and finally this year I was able to actually make it happen.
That's great. So yeah, we'll be at Dragon Con as well. At least as long as I keep getting grandfathered into the Hyatt every year. Woo! And then we'll be at BlizzCon. We just got our tickets for that. The Alun has smiled upon us this day, and we got tickets to BlizzCon.
What are you doing for BlizzCon this year?
I have no idea. I can't think any further than ahead than a week. We have so much to do with the new shop. We'll see though. But that's all we have confirmed for now. I don't know if we're doing San Diego Comic-Con or not. If our friends at Tested are doing something and it would involve me, then I might be there. But that's 2 months away. That's basically forever from now.
That's a lifetime away.
Yeah. Hey, actually, I'd like to take a quick moment. They're not sponsoring this or anything, but I've been shooting with Tested for the last few months. And if you're looking for really fun video content, then if you go to tested.com/premium, they have their premium page with premium content. Paid page. It's $40 a year. You get cool stuff though. Hold on. Ugh. I am a paying member, just so everyone knows. I got Adam's single vinyl right here, which is worth the price of admission. But also you get to watch videos with me. Extra videos with me. So if you're looking for more awesome video content, then consider being a member of Tested Premium, like I am. We just filmed a bunch of them while I was in San Francisco. So there you go. End of plug. All right, let's grab another question here. Thank you, Nerdy Views, for that one. Tommy has a question. He's going to build his first foam prop. Oh my! Is the Endo rifle?
That's exciting.
From T2 Endo rifle. Oh, the Terminator 2. I'm guessing the rifle that the metal skeleton guys I'm gonna find a picture. Terminator 2 Endo skeleton. They have these crazy looking rifle things. I wonder if they were based on something. Let's see here. There we go. I got a good picture up on Google image search. Okay, cool. So it's this crazy looking rifle thing that the Terminators have. Very good. We're all on the same page. Great. What was the?
I bet you that it was probably one of the concepts from like one of the first Aliens.
Probably, yeah. He's gonna get some foam. Not sure if I want to go high density or not. Also wondering what the toughest coating is. So, do you have a favorite foam? Do you have a favorite density for most things?
Usually as thick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer it rigid just because I know that you're going to be bumping into people, and anything that flexes is probably not going to hold up well, in my honest opinion. But unless you're wearing it on yourself, but as a prop, I'd much prefer a denser foam.
I gotcha. The specific question he mentioned, our friends over at TNT Cosplay Supply. I think they have foam available in a couple different densities. I'm just double checking just to make sure. They have EVA, they call EVA 38, and they have EVA 50 high density. Is that new? I don't know if I've tried that one, but it's out of stock. Oh wait, they have 60. What? Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you can get a higher density for a prop, something that needs to be a little bit more rigid, I say go for it. Get some of the more high density stuff. I don't know about you, Dhareza, but I have such an assortment of scrap foams and thicknesses and densities that if I'm going to make a prop, I tend to start with leftovers that I had from something else, and I usually have enough for something. Do you?
Oh wow.
Do you have? I don't know. I mean, obviously I have space to keep lots of scraps, but do you have something similar, or do you end up getting rid of a lot of your scraps?
No, I definitely keep all my scraps. I learned from the first year where I would just blow through all of my materials and then have to just buy everything all over again. No, I definitely have a scrap bin, whether it's warbler or foam, and we definitely, we'll reach into it for just some like random stuff. I never have enough. I never have enough larger pieces where I can start a brand new thing. But I'll always have enough scraps for details.
I gotcha. Yeah. Usually me too. I always, maybe it's just because I'm a crazy person, but whenever I'm ordering foam, I always just get twice as much as I think I need. So I do tend to have,
and it's cheaper that way too.
It ends up being cheaper that way. I don't have to pay for more shipping because I need to get something right away.
Right.
I'm looking up, there's a website, I don't know if you guys have checked this out, it's called IMFDB. It's the Internet Movie Firearm Database. If you need a reference for your endo gun, there's a lot of guns in this movie, so I'm having to scroll through a lot. But let's see, I'm trying to find it. But if you need references, or if you want to know what the prop was based on, what they built it on, then that's a really good place to start. But
I didn't even know this website existed.
Oh my goodness, imfdb.org. You will get bombarded with ads, so be ready for that. But otherwise, you're pretty good.
I like how when I typed in IMFDB, the first thing was Terminator 2.
Yeah. Okay, I found it. The Westinghouse M95A1 phased plasma rifle. It's the fictional one used by the endoskeleton Terminators. Is that really built off of a calico? It's interesting. But it'll give you a bunch of information to get you started, and plenty of really cool screenshots too. So there you go. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. That should help you out. At the very least, give you a decent photo to start with. But yeah, get as dense a foam as you can for a prop, because that's going to help you out. Tommy's also curious if
just build on top of that.
Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, he's also curious if I'm going to BrickCon this year. When is BrickCon? BrickCon, by the way, is a Lego convention here in Seattle. BrickCon is in October. Cool. That is a million years from now, so I hope I can make it. But I cannot commit yet, because who knows what'll come up. I will say, though, when I was in San Francisco talking to Norm over at Tested, it came up, and we were like, hey, it would be a cool thing for Tested to go to. And I can't speak for them, but it would be cool if Tested came up for that. Smidge McDuff just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Rob. That is my twin brother. Thanks for the support, family. Let's see. That question was from Tommy. Tommy, thank you very much for the question. All right. I think that's it. I don't see any more questions in the email. So I'm just going to take, if you have a quick fire question you want to drop in the chat, just tag @PunishedProps in the chat so I see it, and we'll dive into them. I'll grab this one right away. Let's see, Sharon, sorry, that's a very bright green color. It's hard to read. Is curious about your Lumiere paints. Is that specifically, do you use that on foam? Do you use that on all your stuff?
I use Lumiere paints on everything. And to answer her question, one of my favorite paints for foam and armor. So I stick with the Lumiere, and one of my favorite things to do is to use the silvers, the really bright silvers, just to give it that nice sheen to some of the curved parts. I think someone asked a question about how to build like one of the swords earlier today, and I would have used the exact same technique. I'd grab like one of the brightest silvers that Lumiere has to offer, and just dry brush it on the edges just to make that curve or that edge pop.
Very good. Cool. I'm just checking something up in the chat real quick. Anyway, scrolling down. Cool. Is wood filler, Shed Quarter Creation says, is wood filler a bad way to fill gaps in 3D printed props compared to Bondo? I've never used wood filler for that. Have you ever given that a try?
No, I've always used Bondo, but I have used wood filler on foam before to disastrous results. Yeah. It gives it a nice smooth edge. You know, I'm not going to I won't lie about that, but it does not hold well. Right. From my experience, it always cracks.
Nerds and Maker says, I use spot putty. That's what I tend to use too. For small things, I'll use like 3M spot putty. My auntie is curious, recommendations for building plasma edged blades. I'm gonna say that would probably be like Zero's sword from Borderlands. Zero has it's like kind of like a lightsaber, except it's just the edge of it that's glowing.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or even I mean, it's not really a blade, but the Omni blade from Mass Effect, bringing it back. Yeah. I built one out of acrylic plastic, popped a couple of LEDs on the sides, and it looked pretty good. Yeah,
I just saw one of these. Actually, this charming young woman in the prop contest at Maker Faire she had made her own Zero sword. She was, I believe, in 9th grade, and she had made a sword like that where the edge was acrylic with LEDs behind it. It was very well done, and the handle to make it sturdy was metal. It was steel, and she welded it. Like, what? Oh, wow. I wish I was making projects like that in 9th grade. That was so cool. Yeah, so an acrylic edge with LEDs behind it. There you go. And there's probably a couple of good tutorials like that online. Our friends at Cosplay for Us all did Zero's sword, I think. And I'm pretty sure they've got a good reference for that. So we'll put a link in the chat and in the show notes so you guys can go check out their page. I also just remembered I need to put these in the show notes, so I'm going to copy and paste some things. Cool. Let's see. Any more questions? Please feel free to drop them in the chat as we kind of get ourselves near to the end of the show.
Actually, I had a question for you.
All right, lay it on me.
So obviously you've built a lot of things over the years. Where do you store them all?
Well, a lot of them are on my wall. A lot of them I don't have anymore. it's funny. A lot of the things that I've built over the years end up being commissions, or actually,
Right.
I'll give you a good example. I built the giant rifle from District 9, and for the project, I built one for Tested, which is now on their podcasting set, which is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I built one for Smooth On, which is on display in their headquarters, which is very cool. I don't have one for myself. But I have the molds, and they take up even more room.
All right. I mean, do you end up missing the ones that they're now hanging somewhere else?
Yeah, the ones I don't have. Now, obviously I can make one. But what's tough is I've already made the videos for that project, so I don't have an impulse to do it again for a video because I already made a video. I can't make the same video, so I don't have a good excuse to finish one for myself other than I want one. But it'll happen. I will say, when we moved into this new shop space, we took everything out of my basement and we just kind of shoved it in the floor in the main shop space there. And when I saw all of it laid out, it was unbelievable that could fit in my basement.
Wow.
It was astonishing. Yeah, things were just tucked in every corner of the shop. So
Do you
yeah,
have favorites, or are they all equally loved?
I mean, I only really like the things I made within the last year. That's just the artist in me. No, that's not true. The Draugrs are a favorite because I made that with my wife. If she's listening, I don't know if she can hear me. Let's grab one. Let's see. What's your process for belts and holsters? That's a good question. Have you ever done belts and holsters for any of your...
Yes, because one of the most important things as a cosplayer going to a convention is, what do you do with your phone, and what do you do with the convention ID? No matter what, I need to be able to, whether it's tucked into my boot or hidden under my chest piece or whatever. They just need to be on me, and my favorite thing to do is build a dedicated belt just for that. I'll make them out of foam.
Very good. I'm looking at some of your pictures on Instagram right now, and I'm trying to spot where is Dhareza's phone.
Well, the latest one I have on my Instagram was with my gender bent Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and that is hidden under my skirt.
Very good.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking for a holster tutorial, I actually made a leather holster for my Han Solo blaster. So we'll just throw a link to that, and you can go check that out. But that's all just traditional leather working, which is awesome because leather is super, super durable. Let's see how good my video was tagged. I'm going to look up Han Solo belt holster. Let's see if my video is the first one that pops up. Bam, it is. All right. Good job, Bill. Good job, past Bill. So I'll link to that in the show notes, and you can check it out. We had another question. This one's from Nerdy Views. He says, have you guys figured out how you're hanging props on your wall in the new shop without drilling into the walls? That's important. Do you have... so in my old shop, I did poke holes in the wall because I could. Not an option here. Do you have a favorite prop wall hanging method?
I've used, what are they called? I think they're called Hercules hooks, but you do have to drill into the wall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have experimented with those. I think I've saw in one of those late night infomercial things where it's like some sticker, but those ended up falling apart. Like
the 3M Command adhesive things.
Yeah. Actually, that one is still up, and that one surprisingly is holding a Captain America aluminum shield still. Yeah, so that's doing really well. But a foam gun, which just happened to be longer, completely fell.
That's a bummer. All right, so I do have a plan. I'm working on getting the materials. So let me paint you guys a picture. This is the office. I want to build. Tilt the camera, Bill. You got this. All right, cool. Okay, so we have a drop ceiling in the office, and there are these cross beams. I don't know how to point. There we go. Right, the cross beams there. You can get these little clips hangers, and I bought some. I don't know where they are, but you can get little hangers that clip around those with a hook on it. Right, so you could hang like signage from drop ceiling. Now, I don't think that those can hold a ton of weight, but if I put a bunch of them, or put one of those hooks on every cross piece there, it should be able to hold enough. Worst case scenario, the whole ceiling comes falling down. But the plan is...
That's worst case scenario.
The plan is to put hooks on every cross piece there, and then from those hooks, there are these retail racks that you can get that are like wires, like thick wires, like a grid. And I want to hang those from those hooks so that there's just a grid on the wall that would look kind of cool. And then on that grid I could zip tie things, or I got these hooks for displaying like t-shirts or whatever, so I can just hang stuff from it. That's the plan anyway. I still have to get all the materials. I will film it to see if it works. Or even better, if it doesn't work and it's a total disaster, it'd still be a great video. But I will let you guys know how it turns out. That is the current plan.
Nice.
This plan may be completely different a week from now.
Or shelves. Maybe shelves might be the way to go.
Yeah, I really want something just right up against the wall.
Right on the wall.
We do have, actually, a little bit of a tour. Like, we have this shelf over Brittany's desk here. You can see where Sulfurous is just hanging out there for now. We can put stuff on there. We can put stuff on top of this shelf for now. But we have to put, like, paper and boring office stuff on there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. What's important is that I'm going to film it all for your enjoyment. Awesome. Well, I don't see any more questions, and we're running to the end of our time, so I think we could wrap it up. Dhareza, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the last hour.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Where did you say you were going to be? You're heading tomorrow, or
tomorrow? We are going to Comic Palooza in Houston, Texas.
All right. Anyone watching at Comic Palooza, be sure to go say hi. And then the SITT, was it?
And USITT. That's going to be exactly a month from now, actually.
That looks really, really cool. So anyone at home who is in the area owes it to themselves to go check that out. That looks amazing. Otherwise, you can go to Dhareza.com to check out everything that Dhareza's up to. Or Dharez on Instagram, which for some reason I'm not following you. I just fixed that. Head on over to Instagram and follow Dhareza. And go check out all the really awesome stuff that he's been working on. Anything else you'd like to plug before we send this boat into the sunset?
I guess if anyone is located in the New York City area next month, if you can't make it to SITT, I will be starting to teach foam classes here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So look out for that on the Manhattan Wardrobe Supplies Facebook page. That's
really cool. Manhattan, I will get links for that, and we'll put them all in the show notes. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. Until the next episode, I guess we'll just keep those questions coming, and we'll have another awesome time in the new shop. The next exciting episode of Prop Live Q&A. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Great job, everyone. I was just scampering around to keep on top of all the notes. I think I did okay. Brittany will let me know in a little bit.
You're a pro.
Yeah, well, they're making a mold right now. Brittany and our friend are in the shop making a mold.
A mold of what?
It's something from the new Zelda game. I don't know what it is. Or it's a shrine, I think.
Right.
Only it's little. Wow. I haven't played the new Zelda game.
That's awesome. Oh, you haven't? I lost like 200 hours of that.
Oh, my goodness. That seems to be the story. That's why I'm afraid to start.
Yeah, exactly. You can't start and stop. You will just keep going. It's just one of those games.
Good news. Artist by Night in the chat says that he delivers beer for a living. I used to do that. I worked at a beer warehouse for a while. He says, almost every liquor store with a drop ceiling uses those hangers. I've seen one hang a 22-pound neon sign. It's still up for about 3 years. Awesome. That's excellent news. Very good. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Well, I think that's about it.
Oh, we've got a question from Yanti Z105. Where in NYC? If he's talking about Manhattan Wardrobe Supplies, we are located on 29th and 8th.
Very cool.
On the 8th floor.
I'm remembering to grab a link for that. Wardrobesupplies.com.
That's right.
That is excellent. And it's loading. Very cool. Copy. Nope, didn't work. Manhattan Wardrobe. Very cool. All right, well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for us. I'm going to go see how the mold is going, and then I'm going to go watch Deadpool. Yay!
You're going to love it.
Oh, good, good, good. I've heard all good things. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully we will do a live stream from the shop next week. Fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. There's still no streaming computer in there, but we're working on it. All right. So long, everyone.